Diabellestarr here, coming to you with another episode of the Future of Yu-Gi-Oh! And in today's Future of Yu-Gi-Oh! Segment, we're going to be going ahead and looking at the Snake Eyes, the archetype that was basically based off of the Snake Eye spell card that can put any monster on the field into the spell and trap card zone. And this is actually a cool archetype. I will be honest, I have read some of the cards already. I know that it's a pyro based archetype, so don't be getting your Snake Rains ready. It's sad that they didn't make an archetype literally called Snake Eyes, a reptile archetype, but it is a pyro archetype, so it does give use to the bonfire spell card, which is actually kind of nice, giving an archetype that didn't really exist yet already having a rotor, right? Like, it's kind of cool to see that pyros are actually getting some support, especially seeing as back in the day the only archetype that was actually good that was pyro was the volcanic archetype. So yeah, it's cool to see that Konami are actually making a good pyro archetype outside of volcanics. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, talk about the Snake Eye archetype, and just go over what the cards actually do. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first one is Snake Eye Excel, the best one in my opinion. Now, what does this do? So this is a level 1 fire pyro monster, 800 attack, 1000 defense, with the effect that says if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand. And also, its second effect is you can send this card and one other face-up card you control to the graveyard, special summon one Snake Eye monster from your hand or deck. Now, this card is insanely good for a couple of reasons. One, this can search any fire monster in the game. So it can go ahead and search the new Infernoble level 1 searcher, which you can just go ahead and equip any equip spell from the deck to a warrior monster you control. It can go ahead and search stuff like Kurikara, which is absolutely insane, being able to just search Kurikara, because you can go ahead and tribute your opponent's entire board after normal summoning this, if they've activated all their monsters, of course. And this can also go ahead and search any level 1 fire in the game, so it's great for decks like even Infernoid, because you can go ahead and search Decatron and use Decatron's effect to go ahead and then send any Infernoid monster to the graveyard and copy all of its effects. So right off the bat, this card is absolutely insane, and the archetype also has the ability to just go ahead and send other face-up cards in the field to the graveyard, including themselves. Just go ahead and summon a really big Snake Eye monster from the deck, or summon any of the other little Snake Eye monsters, because this archetype is primarily based around level 1 monsters, but does have a big boss monster as well. So yeah, really cool card, really great card. Searcher, free summon from the deck, and it's very generic, and technically you can have now 9 Kurikaras in your deck, because you play free Bonfire, free of this, and then just free Kurikara. So kind of cool, right? Now, continuing on though, we go on to Snake Eye Oarch. Now, this is a level 1 pyro effects monster, 9 attack, 200 defense, with the effect that says if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one of your level 1 fire monsters that is banished or in your graveyard, and either special summon it or add it to your hand. Very good for a couple of reasons as well. One, more Infernoid support, essentially. You go ahead and banish your Infernoid Decatron from the graveyard, normal summon this, and then just special summon that Decatron and use its effect. Go ahead and send any Infernoid from your deck to the graveyard. Great for Infernoids, right? Just a free revival. And it also has the effect that you can send this card and one other face of card you control to the graveyard, just one Snake Eye monster from your hand or deck. So it's the same one as Excel, because I think that's what the majority of the level 1s do. I have read some of these cards, I can't remember all of their effects, because I read them in the morning, went through work, everything along those lines. But it's kind of cool to see that a level 1 pyro archetype has the ability to just revolve around all the level 1 fire monsters in the game, especially seeing as like Volcanics was the original good pyro deck, right? So it's nice to see that we're seeing a level 1 deck, which isn't actually normally very good level 1 decks, and also now a pyro deck that for years has just been one of the worst attributes in the game, are just getting kind of a lot of support and being shown to have some representation. And I actually feel like this archetype could be meta. So yeah, so let's go ahead and continue on though, because this one is a free revival and slash a free add from your graveyard or banish to your hand or summon. So just a really good card in general for any level 1 fire monster. Next, we have Snake Eye White Birch, which is a level 1 fire pyro monster, 0 attack, 2100 defense. This is the big defense. And its effect is, if you control a fire monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it essentially gives you the ability to gain free special summons to go into like rank 1 plays if you have rank 1s. Like, I don't think this deck actually has any Xyz monsters yet, but if it does get some, it's gonna be really nice to have something like this that's just a free special summon to go ahead and make a cool rank 1 monster to go with it from that continuation on there. And it also has the effect that says, during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can send this card and one other face card you control to the graveyard, special one Snake Eye monster from your hand or deck. So Essentially, unlike the other two, this one is a quick effect during your opponent's turn, so you can essentially gain the additional effects during the opponent's turn. You can go ahead and use the ability to recycle or search during the opponent's turn, which is very, very nice there as well, right? And now we've got the big boy here. We have got Snake Eye Flame Burge Dragon. Not a pyro monster, a dragon monster. Kind of wish they kept to the theme, but as you can see, it's a giant Leviathan snake dragon. I don't know, guys. It's got the evil eye jewel or the snake eye jewel in its forehead. But let's go ahead and read what this does. So it's a level 8 fire dragon effect monster with 3000 attack, 2500 defense. And its effects are, first effect, you can target one monster in either player's graveyard or face up on the field, place it in the spell and trap card zone of the owner's field. So essentially, if you can turn any monster in the main monster zone or in the opponent's graveyard into a continuous spell on the field. So that's just really great, because this also has the effect that says, during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you target one monster card on the field, treat it as a continuous spell, special summon it to your field. So essentially what that means is, oh, I'm going to go ahead and turn that monster into a continuous spell, and on your turn, I'm going to steal it and use it for my own devices. So you could essentially go ahead and use it to go ahead and steal a Baron de Fleur, you could steal some sort of Omni Negate, a big boss monster, and just go ahead and turn it into your own devices to go ahead and just have a great monster. Like against Kashtira, you could steal a Rise Heart, against Telemans, you could steal, I forgot the name, Rise, it's one of the heart monsters, the big 3/5 fusion that can go ahead and shuffle stuff into the deck. Like, this card can go ahead and steal any boss monster, which is actually pretty cool, and is also basically a monster version of the original spell card, just to go ahead and put it in the spell and trap card zone and then steal it later, if you get what I mean, right? Which is really, really nice. And it also has a third effect that says, if this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, it's to summon 2 level 1 fire monsters from your graveyard. So essentially, on top of having the ability to turn any monster into a continuous spell, to steal that monster from this continuous spell zone, or from the spell and trap card zone, as I say, it also has the ability to revive 2 of your level 1 fire monsters, most likely going to be your Oak and your XL, so you get a free summon and a free search on top of that, and having a free revival or add to hand. Like, it's just a really cool engine right now that, yes, isn't absolutely insane, but with a bit more support, could be really, really meta defining in my opinion. But let's go ahead and go on to the spell and trap cards now, because they do have some. So this is the field spell. It says the Shrine of Serpentine Sight Snake Eye. Its effect is, when this card is resolved, you can place one Snake Eye monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in its owner's spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. Goes with the archetype. Second effect, level 1 fire monster you control gain 1100 attack points. Essentially, your monsters are weak to begin with, so the field spell gives you a little boost. It's kind of like the original, not Umi, the Wetlands, the original Wetlands field spell, which gave, like, water monsters an additional 1000 attack or something. Level 2 frog monsters, normally, I believe it was in tandem with. And its third effect is, once per turn, if your opponent normal or special summons, you can target one monster card on the field in the continuous spell trap card zone and special summon it to your field. So essentially, you go ahead and see your opponent summon, normal or special summon for that matter, and you just get to go ahead and steal any monster in the continuous spell and trap card zone. So literally, oh, your Baron de Fleur is in the spell and trap card zone? I'm just gonna take that now. Thanks, man. It's a great card. I appreciate it. So the field spell isn't overall powerful like every other field spell where it's got a generic search in it, but it does have the ability to just go ahead and give you a free Snake Eye monster in your spell and trap card zone. You have to then special summon it if your opponent does something. Gives your level 1 monster a little boost, and also has the ability to just go ahead and steal your opponent's spell and trap card zone monsters that you turned into spell and traps. So yeah. Card is pretty decent, and it should be saying continuous spell cards, but I really like this archetype, and my brain's going a bit fast because of how good I think this archetype is. So let's continue on there. So next we have the original Tainted Treasure Snake Eye. So this is a normal spell card that says you can send one other face-up card you control to the graveyard to summon one level 1 fire monster from your hand or deck. So this is essentially free summon card. You go ahead and send a face-up monster you control, and you get to go ahead and special summon most likely XL to search OAK to go ahead and get a free recycle of the monster you sent to the graveyard, which is pretty good. Sad thing is, this isn't a continuous spell, so you don't get the advantage of being able to just quick perfect it. play affect it to like anything your opponent does, but the card's still good because it's just a free summon from the deck, right? Well, not free. Well, it's free to an extent because you're going to get a search off the XL. It's a funny one. It's kind of free, but it also isn't because you have to send something to the graveyard. It's just one of those cards, right? And its second effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one Snake Eye or Diabellestarr monster in your graveyard, add one level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand, then place the targeted monster on the bottom of the deck. So, essentially, you've tributed your Snake Eye monster. You're going to go ahead and then search any level 1 monster on top of the monster you special summoned. Now, you can only activate one of the effects of this card per turn, so there is that restriction, but just having the ability to, like, you know, search any level 1 fire monster seems really strong to me to begin with, on top of the fact that you can just go ahead and search XL, which is then just going to go ahead and search most likely the white branch to go ahead and get a free special summon, and then go into Link plays, Xyz plays, anything you really want, right? Because, like, that's just really decent in the top of my head. So, yeah, and then the last card, the Glaring Ruler Snake Eye. A normal trap card that says, if the total levels of all Snake Eye monsters you control equal 2 or more, activate one of these effects. First one, target one monster in your opponent's graveyard or face-up's field, place it in the spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. So just like the deck does, it goes ahead and puts stuff in the spell and trap card zone as continuous spells, and its second effect is, well, the other optional effect, target one monster on the field, treat it as a continuous spell, special summon it to your field. So this card has the ability to not only turn things into continuous spells, but it also has the ability to steal those. So if you've already got a setup where you've gone ahead and put stuff in the spell and trap card zone with the Snake Eye Dragon, then you can just go ahead and steal that monster with the trap effect to go ahead and get free advantage. Like, it's really cool, it's really decent, and we're not actually done with this video, guys, because as you may be able to tell, there's a certain monster in this art, and there's another new archetype that actually goes along with the Snake Eye archetype. This is Diabellestarr, the Dark Witch. Her archetype is only a couple cards as well, and we're going to read them in this video too, guys, to give you guys a look at the new Diabellestarr and also the Snake Eyes, which go in tandem together. So let's go ahead and read what these does. This is a level 7 Dark Spellcaster effect monster, 25 attack, 2000 defense, and its first effect is, you can special summon this card from your hand by sending one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Very easy to special summon, just go ahead and get rid of anything in your hand, free summon essentially. Second effect, if this card is no more special summon, you can set one Tainted Treasure spell/trap directly from your deck. So on top of being a free special summon, it also has the ability to search or set any Tainted Treasure spell or trap card, avoiding Ash Blossom because it does just set the cards. Very nice there as well. And third effect is, if this card is sent from your hand or field to the graveyard, during your opponent's turn you can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. So, three things about this card, guys. One, it's a free special summon. Two, it searches any of your spell and trap cards and just sends it straight to the board. Three, it has the ability to go ahead and just summon itself back if it's sent from the field or hand to the graveyard during the opponent's turn. So the card is just really good because it gets free advantage and also has the ability to just go ahead and summon itself back, right? Like, that's really cool, that's really strong, and in any level 7 deck, this card's actually probably going to be used to an extent. Don't hold my words to heart, but Kashtira Diabellestarr? Maybe, I don't know, we'll have to see. But let's go ahead and read what the actual spells and traps, these tainted spell and traps, do. So, the first one, the Tainted Treasure Hunter Fiend. Quick play spell. First effect, add one Diabellestarr monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So they're going to be adding more Diabellestarr monsters in the future into this archetype. That's just something that's going to happen. We're going to get more of them, and we're going to see more from this archetype as well, which is pretty cool. I kind of see this as the Visa Starfrost deck, that lore, where it's going to continuously go on, and we're going to see more from it. Second effect, during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one of your Tainted Treasure spells that is banished or in your graveyard. Except Tainted Treasure Hunted Fiend. Place it on the bottom of your deck, then draw one card. So essentially, you can use both of the effects of this card per turn, by the way. You can go ahead and activate this, search your Diabellestarr monster, discard a Tainted Treasure spell or trap card, place it on the bottom of your deck, and then draw a card. So what you've done is you've essentially special summoned your Diabellestarr. You've got a free draw, and you've also recycled your cards and getting a new card in general. And because you special summon the Diabellestarr, you get to set a Tainted Treasure card directly from your deck. The card is actually really strong, being a draw, summon, search, and set all in one card, right? Like, that's really, really strong there. Now, the next one is Tainted Treasure of Doom, Lucilia. This card is a quick play spell card with the effect that says target one level 7 or higher spellcast monster you control, apply the effects in sequence. So, that face-up monster is unaffected by other monster effects this turn, but send it to the graveyard during the standby phase. Okay? Next effect. All face-up monsters your opponent currently controls lose attack equal to that monster's attack. Then, if any of those monsters' attack has been reduced to 0, destroy it. So, essentially, you can go ahead and use both of these effects. So you can go ahead and apply these effects in sequence. So you have to apply this one first, where you go ahead and make it unaffected by other monster effects this turn, but send it to the graveyard during the next standby phase. And after that, you get to go ahead and just decrease your opponent's monster's attack, and if they have, by some miracle, tons of monsters with less than 2,500 attack points, because that's what this card does, your opponent loses their entire monster, because if any of those monsters' attack has been reduced to 0, they just die. This card is very reminiscent of like Slide for the Sky Dragon, where if your opponent summons a monster and its attack hits 0, it just dies. But this is essentially a quick play Raigeki. So right now, guys, we're looking at Tainted Treasure Fiend, search the Dark Witch. Dark Witch sets the Tainted Treasure of Doom, and then during your opponent's turn, you just decrease all your opponent's monster attack to 0 and go ahead and wipe their board. You're searching a monster that searches a Raigeki. This card is so cool, and this deck so far, this archetype, this new lore, I really like the idea of it, and I really like how it looks. So yeah, let's go on to the last card now, which is Tainted Treasure of Betrayal, Sylvia. This is a normal trap card that says you can send one Diabellestarr monster from your hand or face-up field to graveyard, and target one face-up monster on the field, negate its effects. And its second effect is, when your opponent activates a card or effect in response to the activation of your Diabellestarr monster's effects or Tainted Treasure spell and trap card, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate that opponent's effect. So, what does this card do essentially? One, it's essentially Imper. It's an imperm that will send your Diabellestarr to the graveyard, then you'll go ahead and use her effect to bring her back, so you can essentially not lose the Diabellestarr and gain free advantage. But what else this card does is, its second effect is, if your opponent tries to Ash Blossom you, imperm your Diabellestarr in response, goes ahead and activates something like Droll and Lockbird in response to your Diabellestarr trap or spell, you can just go ahead and activate this, banish it from the graveyard, and go ahead and negate that effect because it was activated in response to your Tainted Treasure spell or trap or your Diabellestarr monster's effect. So guys, that is all these new cards, and I'm gonna be honest, these cards are so cool. You've got the new Snake Eye cards, which are honestly really insane, having the ability to search any level 1 fire monster in the game, Kurikara, the Infernable one, Decatron, like, it's just really insane. It's got recyclability, it's got the ability to free summons, it's got the ability to steal your opponent's stuff, put it in the spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell card, and then we've got the new Diabellestarr, which is also really cool and is essentially a new lore archetype, having the ability to just go ahead and gain so much free advantage off maybe 2 cards. And that's just really cool, really nice, and I'm happy to see these cards being made, guys. But guys, that is all I actually have for this video. Tell me your thoughts on these cards in the comments down below. Do you think these cards are going to be absolutely insane? Do you think these are going to be meta? Do you think these are cards that are going to be great? I honestly feel like the Snake Eye archetype has a lot of potential to be a meta competitive archetype, which is really insane saying that about a Pyro archetype in 2023. But it's cool to see that Konami have actually made an archetype like this that has that kind of potential in our eyes. But guys, tell me your thoughts on Diabellestarr, tell me your thoughts on the Evil Eye, Snake Eye archetype, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Absolute Duelist, signing out. Later.